mi gente, buenas tardes.
Trying to see one on Facebook. I can't.
On Facebook it says live.
Yeah, I haven't seen it on mine yet. Alright, there it is. See one on Facebook. Alright, we'll get this party started.
Yo, South Jersey don't play when it come to real power. This ain't your cousin's bench top trash. We talk about Danny 1, 2.
What's happening, everybody? I got my glasses on. Here in a second.
He the side of wizard, torch in hand, steady as truth. Tuning HGs like a surgeon, tight, clean, no loose juice. Forget that fluff from Johnny up the street. If you want true watts, Bird has certified, not cheap. Linear amps built like tanks, precision tune. He crafted like art, man, no peak watts balloon. One bird hash mark at a time. It climbed till that needle dance like it's caught in the grime. This South Jersey legend ain't selling sparkle. He's selling signal, pure, raw, and darker. So when you tired of lies, tired of peaks, call Danny 1, 2, 3, where real wattage speaks. Call it how it is. South Jersey's own Danny 1, 2, 3. Real builds, real power. No tweaker watts, just truth.
All right, it's Thursday night. What's going on here? Try to get this thing locked in. All right, guys. Thanks for coming in here and joining me. I want to take and show you guys this little 4-pill bass unit. Now, as I've been building these units, there's been a couple of these that I've built, and they work really good. The guys are intending to use them for sideband, and that's why I'm kind of slowing down here from the beginning of the video. So if you get a system like this, both boxes are prepared to run on sideband. This is 2290's, and this is 2879's. Now, you want to run sideband, and I'll show this in demonstration with my 148, and then after we're done doing the performance on the 148, I'll hook up the Dustin R&R radio. So you're going to see two different wattages and two different peak numbers. And if you watched my last video, you would see that one radio performed better on one mode, another radio performed a little bit better in the other mode. So if you're splitting hairs and you're trying to get every crazy watt you can out of a small box, it's not the smartest idea. So with that said, think about drive, because I do. You're an AM, you can run this little unit up wide open, and it's a perfect amount of drive with a low drive radio for the most part. You don't need a super high tuned radio. This is going to produce anywhere from 70 to 75 watts, and we'll do the math on that. But if you back it down, it's not going to show you very much RMS. The peak will kind of still be there. So the peaker tweakers, you have your spot on this video for a good part of it, because the guy's going to be running quite a bit of sideband on this. Why is it such a big box? Because when he does go to AM, he just cranks it up. So if he was talking sideband, you can back it all the way down, don't really want to go past 10 o'clock or so. Crank it wide open, you go to sideband, you're going to probably end up breaking something. This is part of the disclaimers why I stopped in this video and we talked about this stuff. So if you're talking a sideband, I would commonly just run this box. But if you're not and you want to talk on an AM, then turn this box on and run it on AM. But if you need a little bit more because of a radio, let's say, not enough on sideband, you can take this knob. But first thing I would do is turn it all the way down and work your numbers up. So at the end of the day, there's still variable that you can use here in sideband, but mostly on AM, a lot of guys will run it wide open, but you can control it as well on AM. It's a driver, and it's designed to take and drive certain things. Just I want everyone to understand, as people want to go in, oh, I want to talk on sideband delay, and blah, blah, blah. Cool. You just have to understand that you can't run the same amount of drive that you do on AM on sideband. You will destroy any unit out there, regardless who builds it. It will overdrive the unit and break it. Toshiba or Faux, don't matter. You're going to break them. So let's get this party started. Let's see what I got plugged in here. I think I have the wrong coax in there. All right, let's take it over here. Go here. All right. Okay, we're going to light a few things up. Don't need it. Need it, don't need it, don't need it. Got everything there. That is on. Okay. Alright. So let's take a look. Here's a little 2 transistor unit. 2 2290's in here, just like the last one. No fan kit on this one. 2 little 2290's in a nice little box. Now I controlled the attenuation feeding this unit by putting bigger resistor coming across off the potentiometer. It slows it down. I just didn't really need all of that output power of these 2 transistors. So that's it. That's why there's a potentiometer on here. All right, let's move on to the next one here. It does have a 10 gauge wire hanging out the back end of the little 2 transistor unit. Now we'll just follow those over. They plug right to the back of the power supply, and the same power supply that runs the 4-pill deck inside here. So, and for some odd reason, if you didn't have 120 volts and you only had a car to plug into, you could hook this up to your battery terminals with some good cable, and you could backfeed into this and run it and just wouldn't have 120 volts to power it. It still could go AC or DC. I guess if the guy really was hard up and he wanted to take and put this in a vehicle, you probably could. So, you just won't be using the power supply. So anyway, there you go. A little 4 transistor unit inside. Turned out really nice. And let's just take and fire this thing up. Okay. This one really don't matter about that. Alright, what am I going to run here? I'm going to run the 148. Now, why am I going to run the 148? Because it has sideband. This is not a super high output radio. I want to double check. Get the microphones right. So we'll take and fire this one up. We'll take and look at the driver. It wide open. Okay. I'm gonna look at that. All right, so here we go. We're gonna take a look at our slugs. We're gonna have 25 watt input reflection slugs. What's going on, Adam? How are you? Steve, I see you in here. 250 watt slug going in. Be the output of the driver. So this is reading the communication between the 2 units. Now I am running a half a wavelength of coax. That would be 213, a half a wavelength, whatever coax you decide to use. Probably should tune the frequency, stub tune it, half a wavelength. That's what it requires between these 2 units, and then coming down from my radio into this driver is a half a wavelength. So that's what the coax phase angle is on all of this. And let's just see what the little 250 watt slug says with this 148 on AM. Audio 1, 2, audio, right where I wanted it, right at 70 watts or so. And I don't know, there you go, audio on that meter just passing on through. 1000 watt slug, I guess. Audio. Each line is 20 watts, audio. So it looks good. What's the peaker tweaker say here? So it's telling me I'm doing like 250 watts peak, and that's wide open. Now if I backed it all the way down, as I discussed at the beginning of the video, audio, 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 audio. Now I'm at 100 watts peak. So that goes to show you the same difference. That's on AM. Now I'll just switch right over to sideband real quick. Now there's still gonna be 100 watts all the way down. Audio, 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 audio. Absolutely. What does it do all the way open? Okay. This is what I'm talking about, drive levels, guys. Audio, audio, wide open, wide open. So that's the 250, 275, and that is on upper sideband. And I go back over to AM, and here's my peaker, tweaker, 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 okay? The difference is, when you're filling that up, that's the peak. Now, when you're on AM, your average or RMS power is always going to show you pretty true. Audio, 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 audio. But what happens to that average power when you take and you flip over to sideband? Audio, 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 audio. Wow, that's like average peak now. This is a 250 watt slug. Audio, 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 audio. So that's telling me I'm doing 175 watts right now. And that's with the potentiometer wide open. Now, this is, if you don't have a peak meter, this is why I'm showing you guys this, and you have an average meter or just a bird meter, for example. You could be literally thinking, oh, this is peak audio, this is peak audio, that's all the way down, audio, 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 audio. It's hanging out right around 50 or 60 watts, average. But the truth of that, my peak, audio, 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 is 100 or plus, give or take, on the slugs. So if you don't really have a true peak meter to read your power and you want to go on sideband, your average meter will still work. But you have to understand, your peak is still way, way greater. Now, when we talk about peak and drive levels for AM and you fill up the RMS, but your peak numbers all the way really, really, really high, from the beginning, it's going to be filled right away, just because it's got enough energy to get it up there. But the RMS always suffers. And when it suffers, we increase our drive to fill that up. And then you get to a point on AM that it can't take any more drive. And now you're just making your input reflection go high. And then the communications between there, the inputs go high, then you're going to make a lot of heat because you're overdriving. And then you end up pinching your box and breaking it. So the reason why I talked about this, because guys do break stuff and they make mistakes. But I wanted to just kind of bring this in at the beginning of the video for all the guys that want to kick the tire after they see the wattage and take off. So hopefully some of you guys took this to heart on what I just discussed about drive levels and etc. Now let's put in an actual application. So we're going to look at our 148. There's a box on. Real quick, I'll just show you what this does with just the radio driving it. Audio, audio. That's a 1,000 watt slug. Audio, 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 audio. Oh, and that box is off. The driver's off. 1,000 watt slug. Audio, 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 audio. All right, cool. Double check that. Audio. Oh shit. Okay, I was on sideband. That's why. Gotcha. Now sideband. All right, same difference. Here's AM now. Audio drive, audio, audio, audio. So there's a good example, just my radio driving this. All right, and here's your peak, I guess. We'll look at that. Audio, audio, AM, audio, audio, AM, 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 audio. That's just the radio. Now we'll go to sideband, and you're gonna see how excited these transistors could get. We're peaking. We're peaking here. We're peaking and tweaking. Audio peaker, tweaker, 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 tweaker. Wow, that's a lot of extra power. Like almost double. Audio, 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 500. Audio, 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 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So it's all the same between AM and sideband. Audio, 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 audio for the most part. Going back and forth here. Audio, 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 audio. So that's just the radio driving it and filling it up. But what happens to the RMS? It's a terrible thing. Audio, 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 audio. 350. It's not really bad on the radio, but that's what it's on sideband. Audio, 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 audio. Same thing we've seen on the analog. Here's AM. Audio, 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 audio. I'm doing 150 watts, real watts, on AM, because I didn't have the filler. and fill up anything. Let's see. Like fan wire was caught. Okay. So we're going to fill up the AM. Make sure we're in AM. We're going to turn on our driver. We're going to go down low. We'll take a look at that. Too much carrier there. None. Okay. Here we go. Now we're going to look at, again, a 25 watt input reflect. This is 250 watt drive. Each line's 5 watts on the drive. Driver is all the way down with a Cobra 148 audio. And that is 5 watts a line, so that's about 20 watts. Audio. Yeah, that's 20 watts. Now, the same 20 watts is what? Audio. It's everything on. That's what it's doing. Inputs, audio, audio. That's 20 watts of drive. Audio on a 1,000 watt slug. Audio. So I'm doing a little over 225 watts. That's a pretty good times 10 number. But if I did the same thing and just left that 20 watts there and went over to sideband, you got to look at the peak. This is your true number. True number, audio peak. All right, 800 watts would have turned all the way down. So, with that turned all the way down, and on sideband, I'm peaking out at audio, 800, 825. Now, if I go to AM, I'm going to do the same. Audio. Really close. But the problem is, I'm only hitting with 20 watts, so my RMS is truly suffering. Audio. Now, 225 watts. If I turn this up, and we'll just go wide open, heck, all the in-between carrier. All right. Now here's your RMS. Audio, 1, 2, audio. Now this is with a soft 148, 350 watts. It's not even making the 400. But what happened to the peaker tweaker? Let's look it up here real quick. Audio. Not quite there. Now what happened to the peaker tweaker? I turned it all the way open. I'm on AM still. Audio. So our 1,000, 1,050. All right. Now, a smart guy, if he's going to run the system on sideband, I would go right here. This is how I would run it if I was going to do this myself on sideband. I'd run this all the way down, or maybe just crack it open just a little bit. Let's see what that does on sideband. Peaker tweaker, audio, 1, 2. And see, it really didn't help. But you say, well, if it can do 1,000 watts peak on AM, you do 1,000 watts peak on sideband. You sure can. It's just where you want to put it. Audio 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want to run your stuff hard, and is that little bit of extra going to help you? Probably not. And that's just the awful truth of it. Mother Nature is the one that's helping you guys. You just got to get a little signal out there with a good antenna system and go about your business. But that said, that was a soft radio on AM and sideband. I honestly wouldn't go past 12 o'clock on this unit. Now, at 12 o'clock with this particular radio, this is the outcome of it. Audio. So you're hanging around 900 watts or so on peak. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that at all. Now, if I wanted to take and make more power, and I didn't have a sideband rig, and I just had Cobra 29, remember, you got two 2290's in here, fellas. These don't take a whole lot to get them to get up and go. I'll turn that wide open. We're going to cut this radio off. Turn this one on. I'm going to change my coax over. And I did. I got a carrier. Okay. So, let's take peek at what I got going on. Cool bar right there. Alright, so this is, I left that cool, I put a carrier up there, but I'm going to back it all the way down, just for a kick. Let's look at my drive real quick. And this is with a 148. Let me back this, I'm going to back this down, I'm going to show you guys a little something. All right, now, here's my drive. 250 watt slug. Drive, 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 drive. All right, make that a little bigger for you. All right. All the way down, and there's a driver, audio. So that's like 18 watts or so. Inputs, bypass, working input. All right, now, I don't have hardly any drive. Here's a 1,000 watt slug, audio. So I'm making 180 to 200 watts out of that. What happened to my peak? Tweaker, audio, 1-2. That 800, 825 just jumps right up there. And this has got minimum drive going into it right now. So if I increase, go open. Let's take and see my drive. Audio drive, audio, 65 watts is what's at. Pretty happy right there. Let's stop there for a moment. We have 65 watts. 65 watts, divide that into 4. So that's 16.25 watts per pill transistor. That's a pretty good number, really. All right. Audio. All right. Input bypass, or input, audio input. 1.5. And then we're looking at 1,000 watt slug. Audio. So I'm making 400 watts, easy 400. Now let's look at the peak over here. Audio, tweaker. 1050, really likes that. RMS, audio. So I'm kicking the 400 right there. Now, let's go back to our favorite little troll called Peaker Tweaker. All right, a little Peaker Tweaker troll. That's why he's a Peaker Tweaker. He's a troll. If y'all never caught that one. All right, Peaker Tweaker. All right, now we're doing 1050. Now, you heard me mention this got two 2290's in it. It don't take them a lot to get up and go. Now I'm going to show you my radio going through all of this. Here's my radio power. I'm going to read it on this meter. And this is what the radio is putting out, roughly. It's going to cross 2 bridges, a jumper. It's going to cross a bridge, a jumper, and another bridge to get to the dummy load. All right? So here's the output power of the radio. Audio. So I'm closer, honestly, about 7.5, maybe 8. Now, if I turn this up, I'll show you again. I'll key it again one more time here. All right. I'll turn this around. We'll break something. All right, here we go. Tweaker, troll. All right, 1050. Now, what happens to that 1050 if I start overdriving now what? My input circuit to what? My two 2290's. Actually, I'll put this exactly where it was tuned at. Then we'll go up a little bit, maybe. We'll see. We'll go where? There. Alright. Now, we're at 1050. Didn't change a thing but the voltage on my radio. See? 14.4. Tweaker. Alright, now, I think I'm on the threshold because I go up, right there. See, she goes away. Audio 1-2. It tries. But all I'm trying to say is beware of your radio drive levels. So you don't need some superpower radio to take and get two 2290's to go. They'll really get up and go pretty much by themselves. Don't take much to get them to go. In fact, I limited the potentiometer to control the output power of this for a simple fact that, yes, it will be going on sideband and it will be going on AM. But even if I were not to take and control this, let's just breathe the numbers into the calculator real quick. All right, so for the same example, if, for example, I was running this same driver at 80 watts, a transistor, and we'll simply divide that by 4, you're already at 20 watts a pill. You're red line. You're going to see you later, alligator. So, by having to make myself make a smart decision and decide to say, we're going to be at 70 watts, 65 to 70 watts, 70 watts pretty much max, divide that at 4, we're at 17.5 with plenty of headroom. So if the guy's radio does do a little bit more and the driver does do a little bit more power, you have enough headroom to cover it before you get into the danger zone and don't even know that you're there. So me being responsible, I shared this information with everybody so you can learn it and maybe follow the same practices. Hey Molly, what you got doing? What are you doing? Huh? We're done working? Molly, you holding up the pole? Come on out here. You just hanging out. Look what I got. I got this. Yeah, Nasty Boy came down and seen you, brought you some gifts. Thanks, Nasty. Nasty Boy in New Jersey stopped by the shop the other day, and he come over and he seen Molly. Molly, did you see Steve? Did you see Nasty Boy? Huh, Molly? Did you see him? You waved to him, yeah? What'd you tell him? You said no? You gave him a hug, didn't you? Because he gave you treats, right? Yeah. Yeah, well, you're a good girl. So what do you think? The box run good? Did we get it all out of the way? Huh? What do you know? What do you say? Molly. Ruff, ruff? Uh-huh. Then what? Do we got any more to do on that? Are we good? Oh, you want another treat? You want this? Yeah. Such a good girl. So, one more for you. Molly, you gonna sit pretty for everybody. Come on, sit up. Don't, hey, come on, up, 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 up. Okay, that's pretty enough. All right, so with that said, a lot of this stuff just simply comes down to some practical numbers. They're really easy to figure out on the calculator, guys. And it just goes to show how fast you can shift drive and put yourself up in harm's way. With that said, standing wave is the #1 killer on equipment and bad jumpers or the wrong jumper length. So I highly suggest you guys, if you don't have the birds, I understand it, just simply take some good advice and get some 213 or a properly cut piece of coax, whatever flavor you like, and cut it to frequency, and you'll be in good shape. Like I said, this entire system requires a half a wavelength of coax, so it'll be half wavelength down from the radio to the driver and a half wavelength in between them. Obviously, you can see I got them coiled up. They're bunched up all over each other. I'm not having problems over here. Even if I plugged into my antenna, I wouldn't have no problems. But regardless, I put a good cooling system in here. It's got a 120 mil fan, 106 CFM. I blocked out the air passage on the side here for no air can escape. All the air has to come out of the heat sink and then through that exit hole. And then, like I said, I have 5/16 studs back here for the driver can hook up here. And if anybody was wondering, I'm running this unit actually at 14.8 volts. So if you really had to, I might be enough room for a extra 6 amps coming off for a radio, 3 amps. So you can hook a radio onto that if you chose to, if you don't have a base radio. But with that said, that's pretty much it. You have an auto sideband in both of these things. But again, just leave this off until you need it. Run this for sideband and you're good to go. If you get whacked a little bit, you can take and turn this on, but just make sure this knob's all the way down, because if it's all the way open, probably not going to survive, and it probably won't survive very long. This is the exact reason why I don't make an amplifier with sideband delay or even sideband period that has an internal driver in the amplifier. And the guys want to say, oh, I want to take and have a staged amplifier and this and that. You have a juiced up Texas Star that all it takes is one time to forget not to back something down, and you blow your whole system. So buyer beware, operator beware, and that's about the best way I could describe that. I don't want to see anybody have problems if you bought my stuff or not. Take and watch how much you're driving into your stuff. So you just kind of have to look at it on the AM side and absolutely on the sideband side. So you get on into that. 860. I have to take my hat off to you again, sir. You did a great job on all of these newscasting, AI things that you're doing on JD's Watergate. It is absolutely awesome. It takes you quite a bit of time, as you as we all know. Everything takes time to do, and it took quite a bit of time to build this equipment too and do this video. So Molly, with all the time that we just burned up, do you want to spend a little time together here? You want to do something? Huh? You want to get one of these here? You want to get one of these strips? What do you think? Want that? Come get it. Man, she can't get out of her bed now. Hey. Come on, you gonna go to work and say goodbye to everybody? I should not give you the big one, huh? Should have kept that one till the end. Yep. Come on, Molly. Let's go. Let's do it. Ready? Ready to work? What's going on? You gonna sit? You gonna say goodbye to everybody and thanks for watching? Molly? You say bye-bye? You gonna say thanks for watching? Thanks for watching. Uh-oh. You missed it. And you're sitting on it. Hey. We do it one more time? Take two. Molly saying goodbye. Huh? Molly, ready? Hey. Say goodbye. Say bye-bye. Say row. Row, row. What are you going to do? Tell me. Molly. You can tell me? Come on. Come on. Tell me. What? What? Oh, you're now barking. You're being a dodo. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to slide out of here. Take care. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, you enjoyed the video and you got some information that'll be useful to somebody. Good luck. I'm out of here.